Hello, everyone. I'm sorry, there were sounds.
There was, as far as I heard this wonderful yawny lead up where Austin was like, "Here we go."
You're like waiting, holding your breath in anticipation. All right, here we go. Hello, oh, my voice broke.
This is all
pretty.
This is radio gold.
This is terrible.
So apparently the etymology for the word cocktail means that you used to drink it in the morning after the rooster crows.
Really?
Yeah.
So this was back before they had rules about not before noon drinking?
Maybe for you guys. For me, it was like Friday.
Oh, okay.
I'm just kidding. Yesterday.
If I sound tired for the show, that's only because I am. So that is why. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Waking up is like hard. As I get older and older, waking up and actually extricating myself from the bed is like this Herculean task. It feels like almost mythical as I try to like emerge from the bed. I like right now it's hard, but I think like in a couple of years' time, the only thing that will like get me out of bed if like some like ancient researcher finds a book somewhere all in Latin and then speaks a phrase no one was meant to speak and summons me from out of the depths of my bed. I think that's the only thing that will get me up as I get older.
And yet, there's a stereotype that like all old people wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Those people are liars and fools. I think what that is like, bedtime used to be different before there was cable, and then there was like nothing on. So like nowadays, like it's 8 o'clock. Oh, all the good shows are going to be on for like the next 2.5 hours. But back then it was like, well, there's nothing on. So fuck this. I'm going to sleep. And that created their sleep cycles in an era. I don't know. I'm completely pulling this out of my ass.
And now we have the internet, too, which will make things even worse.
Yeah, I mean, everything's sort of 24-hour, so, you know, our sleep schedules are sort of whenever. Maybe that's my problem.
I try really hard to adhere to a strict sleep schedule. It doesn't always work.
I just woke up literally half an hour ago.
I'm not good at sleep.
I love sleep. Oh my god.
I love it too. You know, like I mean, I love it like I love to play soccer, but I'm never going to be in the World Cup.
I got to tell you, like, and maybe this is, I don't know if this sounds depressing, but there's nothing I want to do more than sleep. Like as soon as I lie down, I'm like, everything in my whole day was leading up to this moment when I have nothing to do, when there are no expectations of me.
It is a little depressing, though, when you realize that at this point in time in your life, there's really nothing that you would rather be doing than be unconscious.
Yeah, now that I think about it, that is a really horrible thing about my life. There it is, and I don't mind admitting it.
It's okay, Leon. I came to this realization myself a long time ago. I think it's part of the 30s stretch.
Yeah, it is. Austin, you lucky bastard. You don't have to deal with any of this for now. You can just run around with your youth and your pip and vinegar and stuff. I can't even form
your hoop and stick.
Are you playing the stick ball?
And your pogo ball, and your slap bracelets, and your pogs, and your no fear shirts, and mood rings.
See, now you're just naming fads. You're just naming fads.
Well, how long are humans, like, supposed to live, like, in the wild if we were all running around in the woods? Like 30 or 40, right? That's how old people used.
No. I'm gonna put this to bed right here, okay? The whole concept that human beings, like, didn't live to older ages in times past is rubbish, okay? The problem is that it was difficult to get to that age because everything was trying to kill you. Like, you were getting born, yeah, your mom's vagina was trying to kill you. So many people died when they were kids of, like, disease or accident or improperly healed bones or injury, that it was like that average lifespan that you see in those history textbooks where it's like average lifespan, 2 years old. That's like, people still fucking lived to be like 50 and 60 and shit like that. The problem is that you had so many 8-month-old kids that were just like, fuck it, and just like dying. People still did live to be, like, wizened old ages and things like that, but it was just sort of like, if you got there, you were, like, a baller.
Maybe that's where, like, the whole respect for elders things come in, and why we have less respect for our elders now, because now it's like, yeah, medical science.
Yeah, you don't have to be, like, any kind of special to live to be like 70. You need to be within reach, perhaps, of a doctor, but, I mean, that's not difficult to do in this day and age. But yeah, but it's true, though, when it's like, yeah, the average life expectancy of the Middle Ages was like, that's not like the mean. That's not like most people. That's, it's like literally, people were living to like 50 years old and shit like that, but there's so many 12-year-olds that are running out into the street yelling, "It's Christmas Day!" and getting run down by like fucking wagons and horses and shit like that.
Okay. Well, I guess we've settled that. We have a lot of video game things to discuss, as well as something that came out of Comic-Con that I want to talk about. But first, Johnny is going to take us away with news about good old Electronic Arts.
I'm going to frame this first, gentlemen, because I'm assuming that you guys, like myself, are living in the 21st century.
I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
The American South is a little bit behind, but I feel you.
We'll say it's a pretty good simulacrum of at least of the 21st century. It looks like it, smells like it, maybe doesn't taste like it.
Bless their hearts, they're trying.
Right. Okay. Well, I mean, very recently for me, I signed up to a little online service. You guys might recognize it, called Netflix. Okay.
Heard of it.
Now, the reason why it took me so long to do was because Canadian Netflix is a pale shadow of its American counterpart. But when Arrested Development Season 4 was going to be a Netflix exclusive, I was like, okay, time to pull the trigger on this Netflix thing. And I just moved into a new place, and I bought like an internet-enabled TV, and I was like, yeah, okay, let's do this, because I don't have any internet consoles, like I don't have an Xbox 360 or anything like that a lot of people normally stream Netflix through, but it's a pretty cool service, right? So, how would you guys feel, all right, if you could have a service like Netflix, but for video games? And not in the sense that it streams video games, because they've tried that. On Live was an old service where it was like, yeah, you can play video games on somebody else's computer that they beam to you over the internet. But like actually, pay a monthly fee and then get like access to, video games, tons of video games. Just in theory. How would you feel about that?
In theory, it sounds cool, but I would love to see how it works in practice.
Okay. Now, how would you feel if I told you that instead of getting access to tons of video games, you instead got access to one publisher's video games, and at that, none of their new titles?
I want to know how much and how many of these games and how many I'm interested in, and to see if it's worth my money. But it's already sounding less and less like Netflix.
Right. Okay. So Electronic Arts today, on July the 29th, announced a brand new program, almost exactly like their old program, called Electronic Arts Access. Okay? So now Electronic Arts Access, like I have just explained, is an attempt at a Netflix-like service, where you pay Electronic Arts $5 a month, and get access to a selection of old Electronic Arts titles. Not like old Electronic Arts titles, like, I don't know, NHL 98. But right
Which
now,
is awesome, by the way.
Right now, they're running a beta, and for $5 a month, you can get access to Battlefield 4, Peggle 2, Madden NFL 25. There's one more that I cannot remember.
You said one more, so does that mean it's exactly 4 total?
The beta right now is going to be four titles total. However, what they're also hoping to do is that if you sign up for Electronic Arts Access, it's also going to give you access to discounts on. Oh, not sorry. Wait. Okay, I've got the list here now. It's NFL 15, NHL 15, FIFA 15, NBA Live. No, that's not it. FIFA 14. Sorry. Madden 25, Peggle 2, and Battlefield 4.
Nothing I would ever want to play. Maybe Battlefield 4. I don't like first-person shooters, but out of all of those, somehow the first-person shooter is most interesting to me. But still, no.
So, but it also gets you a 10% discount on digital content. So, like microtransactions and DLC, full games that you buy digitally. However, it's only going to be through the Xbox One store.
For now, at least.
For now.
As a beta, it's
which
hard
means as well that you need to pay for Xbox Live membership in order to access.
Oh, there's like an additional charge, like just for the Xbox Live access, or
Well, first of all, you need to buy internet access. Then you need to buy Xbox Live membership, and then you can buy Electronic Arts Access.
This seems less and less interesting the more you talk about it.
But you can also potentially get early access to games up to 5 days before they come out.
Wow.
As a person who plays a game 1 to 5 years after they are released, just none of this really appeals to me. I imagine how this might be kind of interesting to certain hardcore gamers, but I feel like there are better uses of your game dollar. I mean, for a GameFly subscription, you could have access to way more titles from all manner of platforms. Just to, I mean, I guess the idea about this is, hey, if you're on a budget, you can just pay this, and then you can have this, and this. But it seems like there are more economical and more widespread choices with a lot more options.
We talk a lot of shit about Electronic Arts, Johnny, but I actually don't hate this. Like,
No?
if you're the kind of gamer who buys, Madden and Battlefield and FIFA every year, you've saved quite a bit of money. I think if you're just doing this program. I mean, EA.
Really? Because you're spending $5 a month.
Yeah, it's a month. It's not like you spend $5 and then you can just play them like.
How many months are in a year, guys? Come on, do this math.
I am doing this math.
A bunch, but yeah.
A bunch. It's $60 a year, right? $5 a month, right?
True, but that kind of...
That's one game. If you're going to buy all these games anyway, every year, you save money.
You're kind of committing yourself to,
Yeah, but you're not getting access to the new sports games. You're not getting access to, like, they're not just giving you the next FIFA game for free. If you get the next FIFA game for free, it'll be when the next one comes out next year.
Is it like a year behind these releases? I'm not sure exactly.
They haven't announced a release schedule or anything like that. They're just sort of like, I mean, yeah, look at the games that are available on it right now. We've got FIFA 14 and Battlefield 4 and Peggle 2.
In concept, I would say I too do not hate this, but in practice, it just doesn't seem like there are a great many choices. I mean, $5 doesn't sound like a lot of money, but then you got to think. Well, I'll just ask this: what is the cost of the Xbox One Live membership per month? I mean, the $5 extra, I understand, but as someone who does not have Xbox One, nor will I ever.
Austin, you're a little more qualified to field this question than I believe.
I think they just changed it. I'm looking it up.
Okay, all right.
It looks like a 12-month subscription is. There's a bunch of different prices. $60 for 12 months. So same price, I guess.
Okay. So it's $5 and then another $5.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not the worst. But again, I would rather spend that paltry $10 on a GameFly subscription. If you're looking for like a low price, I want to play a bunch of games, deal. That seems better. But that's me.
But I mean, if you get Madden through GameFly and stuff, I don't think would you be able to play that online? Would you? I don't know how that works anymore. They used to do like online passes.
I'll be perfectly honest. I don't even know how all this online you have to own the copy blah 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 deals even work. I mean, as someone who just does not play online, I'm not sure. I every time they keep changing the rules on us with this stuff. So
I think they got rid of online passes, but you would still need an Xbox Live subscription on top of the GameFly subscription if you wanted to play online. So I think this is a pretty good deal. I mean, Johnny, the list.
Yeah, but the GameFly subscription also gets you access to games by other people that aren't Electronic Arts.
Yeah, just tons and tons, like potentially thousands of different choices. That's what I'm trying to say.
That's totally true, but I'm just talking about like the average gamer. Just mathematically speaking, the average gamer only buys a couple games a year.
Now, nobody wants to talk to the average gamer.
Also, Johnny, this is just the starting lineup. Those sports games you mentioned and Battlefield. It's going to be like PlayStation Plus or the Xbox Gold where they add games.
This is an interesting question for me here. Do you think that Electronic Arts is going to start pulling support for their games on PlayStation Plus or Xbox Gold? Because if they're giving their own shit away, won't they want to keep that to themselves?
I imagine, yeah. I think eventually what you'll have is Xbox Gold games will be all Microsoft, PlayStation Plus will be all Sony, EA Access will be all EA, then Ubisoft will have their own thing, I think that's
Ubisoft
kind of...
is trying so hard right now, and
they are.
They're adorable for it, but somebody has really got to call it on Uplay. Like, we need a doctor in the room.
Everyone knows Uplay blows, but I think we're moving towards that future where everyone has their own kind of Netflix service, and I don't hate that. I love PlayStation Plus. I wish Nintendo had this where I could give them a certain amount of money and I just get first-party titles indefinitely. Because part of the EA Access thing, Johnny, the link you sent me, it said they're not going to remove them from the vault. Like, you'll get Battlefield 4 in perpetuity if you keep up your subscription.
You mean until support for Battlefield 4 goes down?
Well,
because Electronic Arts is so good at keeping their servers up and running for games that are just a little past their prime.
Well, the multiplayer will go down eventually, but let's say they add like Dragon Age Inquisition to it eventually. You should have access to that single player for as long as you have it downloaded on your console. One would imagine. I mean, the whole digital thing is ephemeral as far as we know. That's a separate issue.
Until they make the Xbox 2, this time it's personal.
Yeah. The Xbox 2, break it into Electric Boogaloo.
Absolutely.
I don't hate this. I actually do like the Netflix model for video games because if you play a lot of games, the costs add up. And I think we could actually do a lot worse.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I don't play a lot of games.
Johnny, wouldn't you kill for $60 a month? You just get access to everything on Steam. Just anything you want. Everything's
at this point in time, I think it might be an unnecessary step.
Yeah, I think that one passed you by a little bit. But I mean, that is like the ideal for me. I know a lot of people are collectors. They want the cases. They want to have them on their shelves. That's totally cool. The games will still be on sale at Walmart if that's what you're into. But I think this is actually not a bad option. I think just with EA in particular, you have to worry about things like, yes, their multiplayer is going to go down. Yes, they're probably going to be stingy with the good games, stuff like that. But
like Titanfall's not on there.
Yeah, but that's because they can still sell new copies of that.
Well, they think they can still sell copies of new copies of that.
That's
I mean,
true.
who in their right mind right now hasn't, if you were like, sitting on the fence about Titanfall this long, and you're like, maybe I will pay full price for it.
I think some people are waiting for holiday season because it came out in the middle of the year. So after Black Friday or whatever, when we get to like January or February, maybe it'll be an option. But
Yeah, but I mean, they're not waiting for. They're not waiting because they're like, I don't have any time to play video games right now. Instead, I think I'll wait until the holidays, where I have time. No, they're waiting for the sale price is what they're waiting for.
I mean, guys, Leon, you like actual video games, right?
Actual video games.
Not. I'm trying to get through to Johnny on his PC, and it's just he's being resistant. Wouldn't you love to pay like $5 a month for every like Nintendo game, like just all the Nintendo games? That'd be awesome.
$5.
I get that.
Yeah, if it were in fact like all the Nintendo games, I would be like, that is such an amazing deal that even though I would probably only get around to playing a very few of them per month, that would probably be worth it. What I'm trying to say is that based on EA, and I understand this is beta, but based on what EA is showing us and what they're saying will be on it, it's hard for me to get excited about it. I mean, Nintendo, I hold that a little closer to my heart than Madden. But if Nintendo came out, I'll try to remove bias here. If Nintendo came out with a service that was very similar, with a similar price, and I had to pay a subscription first to $5 and then another $5 for the special, Netflix thing that we're talking about here, and they only had 4 games and none of them were new, I would have to look very closely at those games and say, is this worth it? Do I really want to commit myself to like a couple months worth of this to play some of these games? It would depend on what the games were. But what they're showing right now, I mean, here's the thing. They're saying this is, the subscription to this is $5, and they have 4 games now. But how much is this going to increase? When it's done with beta, will there be 8 games? Will there be 10 games? Will the price go up as the amount of games go up? I mean, we think, well, no, they wouldn't do that, but Netflix has tried to do that a bunch of times. I mean, the only reason they haven't done it as much is because of an outcry. EA seems what's the word? Less customer friendly.
Dick bags, I think is the word you're looking for.
So
they're a bunch
I
of
believe
dick
that's
bags.
an accurate industry term.
So we're saying $5 now for beta, and with 4 games. But I want to know what this is going to be like next year, basically.
Yeah.
How many games are we going to have, and what is it really going to cost?
Like with PlayStation Plus, they add 2 games every month on all 3 of their platforms: Vita, PS3, PS4. So it's 6 free games a month. I think that's pretty fair. I like their selection. If they can match that, I wouldn't have any problem with it. But I do see your point where they'll just start adding here's Dead Space from 8 years ago. You'll be good for a couple months. Figure it out.
I've been meaning to play Dead Space, but I don't know. I don't.
Yeah. Trust is a thing that's kind of intangible in the business world,
Yeah.
Some companies have it, some don't. And they never seem to understand that, but
yeah, if Steam did something like this, and they kind of already do, because everything's so cheap on there. But if Steam did a Netflix style service, kind of similar to this, everyone would be like, yeah, Valve usually, has their backs with this. They're pretty good with customer relations. And then people would be like, what I'm trying to say is if Valve did something like this, and everyone would be like, yes, of course, because Valve, but because EA's doing it, so we're a little, wary?
I'm leery.
I'm weary.
I mean, you can't leery. L-E-E-R-Y.
We're very things. Okay, go ahead.
We're a varying degree of suspicious.
This is a synonym hour with Leon, Johnny, and Austin.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be different if they came to the table. The fact that they want $5 a month for a beta that's got 4 games on it, and the promise that maybe something vague will be delivered to your doorstep when it maybe gets out of beta, maybe in the next year, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than. Do you guys know about the PlayStation streaming service? I guess PS Now. It's in beta and it's basically on live, but it looks way more expensive. It's like $10 or something to rent a game for like a week.
What are the options though? I mean,
I have to look. It's still in beta, but I saw.
Wait, I'm sorry. I misunderstood something. You're saying $10 a week for a game, like a specific game?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's worse than Blockbuster.
It looks bad. It looks not good, which is a shame because it was going to be the only way that the PlayStation 4 is going to be backwards compatible is through it's Gaikai. They bought Gaikai and repurposed it.
Right, Gaikai.
So that's, I mean, hopefully they'll change it up.
If you had said Gaikai, Austin, I'd be like, I know what you're talking about, but no, you got to be all current.
By the way, I realize that Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore, but I do remember how much it cost. For a rental there, and it was never $10. It was that much.
It's essentially it's digital Blockbuster, which is not a business model I'm comfortable with anymore, and I would actually take EA's Netflix plan over it. And that tells you something.
I'm not crazy about the EA thing, but if someone said you have to choose one to play games right now, I'd say I guess I would pick the EA model, but geez.
Yeah. Thanks, Obama.
I actually like sports games, though, unlike you guys.
I know.
I like the FIFA games. Actually, I don't mind the NHL games either, but because I can stomach soccer and hockey respectively as actual sports.
Oh my God! Here we go.
No, just because they have pace. That's it.
Your face has pace.
No, I'm dead serious. Because they don't stop as often. That's so I can play them. It's just that they haven't released.
Okay, Johnny, when they walk around in soccer for 20 minutes doing nothing, fuck you.
I just think that the ball keeps moving, that the play continues on.
He just means the difference between aerobic and anaerobic.
Okay, let's move to the next topic before I eviscerate Johnny.
Before we jump into something non-video game related, I'd love to talk about the fact what we're actually playing, because I played something besides Tales of Grace's F this week.
Oh, shit.
I know.
Was it Mega Man related?
It was not. Basically, what I wanted to do, you think it would be, but no. What I wanted to do is, as much as I'm getting through Tales of Grace's F, I was like, if I play nothing but this game, then it will just be several months of me playing this game and nothing in between, and then I'm just never going to want to play another Tales game or another JRPG ever, because that's my pace right now. So I figured, right in the middle of this game, I would play another game that's short, and I'm playing God of War, Chains of Olympus, the PSP to PS3 remaster. It came with 2 of those games.
Does Kratos get angry in it?
He is so angry. He was angry at the beginning, before even anything happened. He just walked in and was like, "Oh, I'm grumpy," and then I think the sun fell from the sky, because that's apparently science.
Yeah, God of War has a really strong scientific pedigree. It's the chariot guy, wasn't it?
Yeah, he fell, and then it's and the world was in darkness. And
Apollo, that's it.
Yeah, and only Kratos could make the world not darkness. And Kratos you know what, gods, you guys screw me over every single time that we have any kind of meaningful interaction. And then the guy's like, no, this time it will be different. And Kratos is like, okay. And then he goes and do it anyway. I feel like Kratos is in a really, really shitty relationship. And he just keeps going back because he doesn't know what else to do. It's really
I'm glad you're actually describing to me the plot, because the only God of War dialogue I can ever recall Kratos uttering was and I don't speak that language.
No, Kratos just walks around just really grumpy the whole time. He was like, "Oh, what do you think you're doing to me? Don't you realize that?" Blah? And it's just really ridiculous. Oh, by the way, there's a really unnecessary sex scene 10 minutes into the game. You'd think that would be something they save for the end, you work towards it. It's building to that. But no, it's you just, you're in a town and you've killed a bunch of people. You hit the mid-boss, and then after you kill the mid-boss, there's there's like these two women, and and honestly, I felt a little uncomfortable with this, and I guess that's me in my advancing age, just noticing how women are portrayed in video games more and more as I grow up. And there were just two women just kind of lying there saying, "Ooh, let us pleasure you, Kratos, because you have killed someone, and that is apparently reward for violence." Which is a terrible message.
Have you played the other God of War games, Leon?
I have.
There's one of those in every single God of War game. It's a tradition.
I know, but my thinking about things are different than they were in my 20s.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, I skipped the sex mid-game, mini-game this time. I was like, you know what? This is not worth my time. And I left them unsatisfied and walked away to kill people. Because honestly, no matter how much you dress it up with off-camera sex, it's still just a quick time event. And I don't, and even though God of War does that better than most, I would say, I still don't care. So I just moved on to the regular boss. Anyway, it's a fun game. The reason I'm playing it is because I looked it up right before playing, where I was assigned to play, and apparently the game, it's a 5-hour game. You can beat it in about 5 hours. Apparently you can beat it in less than that, but it will take me the 5 hours. I'm like two and a half hours in, so I feel like I'm about halfway there. And by next time we do this show, I will tell you whether or not there was more sex.
Spoilers! There is!
Oh, by the way, yeah, there actually was another naked woman in this game.
Yeah. It's adorable listening to you talk about God of War like you've never played it when you have played all the other ones.
No, I played God of War 1, 2, and 3. I'm just saying that I guess I'm just noticing it more as I grow. This one, I think she's also like a god, and her boobs are hanging out. She's just sitting there talking like her boobs aren't hanging out. She's like, "Oh, this is the most natural thing in the world." I'm not saying that it should be like games need to be so conscious of this that there also needs to be like dicks swaying around all over the place just to make everything equal. I'm just saying that it looks stupid no matter what. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Maybe it's just how I'm thinking these days. But I don't know. God of War, I feel like I just want to crush things. I don't need relationship shit.
I don't think they're trying to give you relationship.
Well, relationship might be the wrong word. I don't need romance in my God of War games.
You've got to admit that it does. There's a little bit of a line cross when you have to imagine, like, people sat in a room, and then one guy is like, okay, so what's she gonna be wearing? And then another guy is like, topless.
and then everyone high-fived and it I read an article not too long ago about how women can be portrayed basically as trophies in fiction, in action fiction, like at the end of Die Hard. John McClane doesn't just beat the bad guys. Somehow by killing all of these bad guys, he has renewed his marriage. Like, that's his trophy at the end of this. And I never thought about it until recently. And I was like, oh shit, you're right, that's weird. And at the end of The Karate Kid, he like kicks someone in the face illegally in a tournament, and then the girl comes over and hugs him while he's holding a trophy, and he's like, he has 2 trophies now, and this is...
In fairness to The Karate Kid...
Okay.
Daniel-san was building a relationship with that girl during the course of the movie, though.
That's true, but I found it weird.
It was convenient timing.
It was convenient, and as I'm playing through God of War: Chains of Olympus, I'm being directly rewarded for killing the mid-boss of this level with 2 digital women. It's really blatant. Maybe I wouldn't mind as much if it were more like The Karate Kid, like it was like a sweet kind of a relationship building thing. But again, I don't play God of War for that.
That would be totally out of character for Kratos to romance someone.
I would love, but as much as I don't want to do that in a game, it would almost be worth it just to see Kratos kind of look at his feet and shuffle and say, "Well, I like you. I have feelings for you, and I will put down my blades of chaos. And then, of course, she's immediately murdered, and he says, Ares! And it's all over again. But,
would you play awkward first date Kratos simulator?
Not if it's a QuickTime event.
To, like, order at the restaurant, you have to, like, tap all the fucking buttons really fast.
Bring me my croutons. I will destroy you!
That would be amazing. I think the thing with God of War, particularly, like yes, the women as trophies thing is a pretty common trope. I mean, it appeals to something in the lizard part of the male brain to win the fight and get the girl. That's just satisfying to us primordially. But with God of War, like, it was just kind of a novelty in the first game. Like, that the level of violence and the toplessness, like, you just didn't see, like, nudity or sex in mainstream games. Like, that was just, like, cool at the time. Like, obviously, in retrospect, the whole thing's kind of gross, but I feel like, I don't know, maybe not give it a pass, but God of War is, like, you kind of understand, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's an institution. It's kind of gross, but we all kind of just live with it. Do you guys remember there was a trailer they released for God of War Ascension where they're talking to one of the 3D modelers? He's like, yeah, I sculpt the best boobs in the industry.
I didn't see that.
They were super proud of it. Like, God of War is just kind of skeevy, and we've learned that to deal with it, I guess.
I guess because to me, it almost seems out of place because it's a game built on so much just revenge and darkness and like just gut anger that when you throw, like, I don't want to say love, but if you throw lovin' right in the middle of all this just violent aggression, it just seems gross.
I think it's supposed to reflect Greek mythology, which is half violence and half boning.
Well, I understand. I mean, if you certainly look at mythology, you realize
with heavy metal.
You realize that the gods were having sex with everyone, and it's largely non-consensual. At least Kratos gets it on with people who says, yes, I genuinely do want to have sex with you. It's totally okay. Let's do this. So I guess, in a way, God of War is less skeevy than Greek mythology, which is weird to think about.
Yeah, how progressive is that series that the hero isn't a rapist?
Yeah.
Gold star. Oh my god, that's terrible.
The worst thing we've ever said, even though it was clearly positive.
I don't know enough about, like, Greek or like Roman dress, but were they in the habit of covering their breasts? I have no idea, because that's not the thing is ubiquitous across all cultures.
Huh. I watched Xena, Warrior Princess.
Historically accurate.
Historically accurate. And she had her breastplate on, which actually will allow me to move into our next topic.
Damn, segue, son.
That was like a completely accidental segue. But yeah, I do want to talk about this. This is our other big topic. At Comic-Con, a lot of things happened, as typically do at Comic-Con. Daniel Radcliffe wore a Spider-Man costume and walked around incognito the whole time. The Avengers all sat there and talked about avenging things, and apparently Captain America, Chris Evans' new nickname is Dorito, because his shoulder length is like in this weird proportion of a Dorito. I don't know. Iron Man says so. Anyway, so those are things that happened. But the thing I want to talk about that happened at Comic-Con was they revealed what Wonder Woman was going to look like in the new Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice movie, and it's very brown, and it's very Xena-like.
I just gotta say that every time somebody says Dawn of Justice, like, the only thing I can think of is the lineup of the Justice League and, like, Dawn Draper. I don't know why, but it's like Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice. And I'm like, yeah,
That's
That'd
our
be
that's our
cool.
title card. Someone needs to Photoshop that.
Dawn of Justice? Yeah. Okay.
I'm sorry. I just every time, for the past fucking 6 weeks or something, blah blah blah, Dawn of Justice. I just see Don Draper in the middle of the fucking Justice League.
Damn it, Peggy.
Do you realize that Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is a spoiler for the whole movie? Because basically, if you read the comic books, whenever two superheroes meet up for the first time, the first thing they always do in the comics is they fight, and then it's sort of inconclusive, and then they say, wait, there's a bigger threat, we can't do this, and then they shake hands and fight the other threat and join forces. Now, I know this because I used to read comic books, and almost anyone who has read them knows that's the formula. But anyone who does not know this could be spoiled because that's the title. First, Batman v Superman, and then Dawn of Justice. The subtitle is the spoiler to the fact that it's going to be an inconclusive fight and they're going to team up at the end. So I just think that, among many other reasons, makes it the worst title for a movie ever. It's like if you called The Sixth Sense, he's dead.
I mean, I don't think anyone goes to superhero movies for the plots necessarily. I think
first of all,
it's a foregone conclusion, no matter what they name it.
I disagree. I mean, I don't go just watch people punch each other with superpowers because I mean, superhero movies are getting better with their storylines as time goes on. Apparently, the new Captain America movie is like a really well-written spy movie that just happens to have superheroes in it.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sorry, I got way off topic. So Wonder Woman, if you have ever seen a picture of Wonder Woman before, she wears a costume that looks vaguely patriotic, even though she's not supposed to be American. It just looks like she's wearing the American flag all over her. She has bright red and blue, and sometimes her costume is gold, and it's very pretty and shiny and super heroic as you would think. But then this costume is not. It's just the Xena costume. And frankly, I mean, if you're gonna rip someone off, you can rip off Xena. That's a great look. It's awesome and badass, but it just doesn't look like Wonder Woman. And the way they portrayed it, it just looks so brown. I mean, is this going to be another one of those superhero movies with a lot of muted colors? Because I mean, contrast that with the upcoming Guardians of the Galaxy. Every trailer you see with that is like everything's bright and green and red, and they're in space, and it's exciting and superheroes and cool. And this is just everyone's sad. It's the biggest thing that's ever happened in movies, and we're all sad about it. I don't know. What do you think about this look?
At the risk of repeating myself, God, DC's shit looks boring as fuck, and Marvel's is colorful and really interesting, and I'm actually going to see it. I couldn't give a shit about Batman v Superman with or without Wonder Woman, and this doesn't look... I mean, obviously a costume is going to make it or break it, but I mean, it's more evidence that it's just going to be like a grim, boring, slog through their shitty whatever they're trying to do with their cinematic universe. That is just, it's balls.
Johnny?
No bueno.
Well, my feelings on Zack Snyder notwithstanding.
Oh God, that's a rabbit hole.
Johnny,
the squid wouldn't have worked in Watchmen. I'm sorry.
No, I agree with you. You would not have been Watchmen. I agree with you. My gripes about the Watchmen movie are deeper and more complicated than that.
I know. I'm giving you a hard time.
As you are well aware, Austin. I'm just going to brush my shoulders now. Get ready for business talk.
All right.
Now that we're done with the tomfoolery. And I think that it's probably going to suck. And I'm way more excited for the Mad Max movie. There we go.
I've never even seen a Mad Max movie before. I might end up seeing the remake of Mad Max before I see Mad Max.
It's not a remake.
Oh, I'm sorry. What is it exactly?
It's like It's like another installment. It's
Oh.
like George Miller, the guy who was basically responsible for the original trilogy.
Oh, okay. So it's Mad Max 4.
Yeah, just without, the the elephant in the room of Mel Gibson.
Does that mean I'm gonna have to watch the other Mad Max movies before this?
I don't believe so. Considering that the original Mad Max didn't get a theatrical release in America, and then the Road Warrior came to theaters, and everybody was like, "This is amazing!" I don't think it's necessarily going to require rich backstory.
Okay.
I think the more important thing...
Are you familiar with the apocalypse?
Vaguely.
All right, you're good.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, Mel Gibson, like I said, I've never seen the movies. One assumes that Mel Gibson is the guy playing a guy named Max. Having never seen it, I'm just guessing. So does that mean that in the future, we're now going to be following someone else named Max?
I believe it's the same Max.
So
it's just Tom Hardy.
So it's like, never mind, I'm trying to get the timeline right in my head.
Is Tom Hardy awesome? Yes, he is. And is he going to make a good Max? Probably.
Okay. So, never mind.
It's not that difficult. They just recast it.
I know. It's just
with a younger actor because it's taking place not the same amount of years as it's been since they made the last movie. I don't think it doesn't look plot heavy. Like I heard a quote like it's just going to be 1 hour and a half long chase scene. So
yeah, and I'm cool with that. I would still rather go see that than Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice.
Agreed.
Breaking to Electric Boogaloo.
All right.
I think the most important thing, guys, is that the Just Cause developers are making a Mad Max video game.
That may be the most important thing about all of this, actually.
Okay. So
clearly.
There might actually be a movie to video game tie-in that won't suck.
Well, apparently it's not directly related to the movie in terms of, like, plot or anything like that.
Okay.
So,
yeah, they've been developing it for a while.
Yeah, the best like video game, because I mean, you could easily argue that Arkham Asylum was not a movie video game tie-in, but at the same time, like, Warner Brothers Movies was like flogging the Dark Knight trilogy pretty hard. They got the one Batman movie game out of EA, and then it was like, okay, you guys take this. So it's not a direct movie tie-in, but, I mean, it was obviously, they wanted a Batman game because there were Batman movies. Spider-Man 2 was a pretty good one, again, but, like, has the superhero crossover, so it's gonna be like, okay, they've been working on a Mad Max game for some time, but it's obvious the reason why is because interest in Fury Road is popping up.
It's
that
sweet brand synergy,
Yeah, precisely.
But not necessarily tying yourself to the script that works better in another medium.
In conclusion, gentlemen, it's probably not going to be very good.
All right.
What about the Last of Us movie?
I just don't know why you wouldn't play the game.
I know. That's what I said. Although apparently the Arya from Game of Thrones is in talks to be Ellie, which is like best case scenario as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, that's
could very well be.
It's practically the same character.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else we want to talk about before we go?
I went to a great barbecue on the weekend.
Oh, well, we have to talk about this. What did they have there? Burgers or hot dogs or both?
Well.
Oh, God. Leon, you've unleashed a monster.
There was a 45-day dry-aged 2 sides of beef ribs that they ran. There was a company that came through that had like 12-hour roasted goat with salsa verde and some goat cheese on top of that. There was a smoked pig that they were pulling pork right off of and just like putting on buns and handing it over. There was a booth that had blood sausage, like barbecued black pudding.
Where was this? Because when you said I went to a barbecue, I'm thinking someone's backyard, but this sounds like a festival.
Oh no, this was a big thing. It's called Brewery and the Beast.
Okay.
They run it. There's a few Canadian cities. They run it in Victoria, Vancouver, and I believe Calgary. every year, and it is awesome.
Okay. Austin, anything you want to say before we go?
No, you need to finish.
Putting on the spot.
You need to finish True Detective so we can talk about it.
I'm going to watch the last episode immediately following this podcast.
Immediately after photoshopping Don Draper into an Avengers lineup, you mean?
I'll try. I guess that's it for Word Funk this week. Everyone, make sure to also watch the new episode of Renegade Cut. It's a 2-part episode about Jurassic Park. Spoiler, life doesn't always find a way, and Dr. Ian Malcolm is mostly full of shit. So, there's that.
Whoa. Those are fighting words.
Remember, kids, time is not your friend, and neither are your friends, probably. In fact, I think they're probably teaming up to get you.
We'll end on that just bleak note. Life is a meaningless void. We're all floating across the universe, a speck of nothing into nothing. We are nothing, and all is nothing, and everything is sad and worthless.
Be ready for it.
be ready for this. God damn it! All right.
Do your homework.
No, that's good. It's a positive message. Do your homework, everyone. Do your homework. I don't know what the hell we're talking about anymore.
On the sad and nothingness, like do your deep reading so you can get ready for it. So that when it finally strikes you, you're like, I knew this would come.
Okay. Not just the nothingness, but the nothing from the Never-Ending Story.
Yeah. Mog and
They look like big, strong hands, don't they?
What, did you guys not get chased by, a giant supernatural wolf on your 18th birthday when you became a man?
My horse died. I mean, that definitely happened, and I was sad. What the fuck are you even talking?
This is literally the worst conversation in human history.
This is like the
Nothing has ever been this awkward.
The slant on everything that Matthew McConaughey says in True Detective. Wouldn't it be great if he just sat there and was like, some officers, we are nothing, and everything is an illusion, and then my horse died in the swamp of sadness, and then they both look at each other like, that's from Never-Ending Story, Matthew McConaughey.
Artax.
Not even his character name.
Artax.
All right. We are in the midst of the McConaissance right now. Just an amazing time in history that nobody predicted, where Matthew McConaughey is in everything that's good.
The pendulum has swung back, and suddenly all of humanity is like, but how can we focus on the McConaughey?
Can you imagine, 6-7 years ago, if everyone said, the 2 greatest things going on in Hollywood right now are the films directed by Ben Affleck and everything starring Matthew McConaughey, we'd all be like, you're crazy, stop being crazy. But that's actually what's going on. Okay, I really do have to stop the show.
You probably should have stopped it a while ago, but yes.
But whatever you do, Leon, don't stop believing.
It's too late for that.